The hypocrisy epidemic, a mirror for Nigeria, a society led by greed, is a society governed by latent criminality. When public stewardship is tainted by personal greed, collective advancement becomes impossible, a decline that plagues Nigeria and much of Africa. But let us be clear, leadership alone is not the culprit. Every citizen who ascends to any form or level power must first confront their own complicity. What have I done to feed the cycle of suffering and stagnation? Consider this: in certain communities, a seller might insist you take a vehicle spare part to a mechanic for verification, promising a refund if it's unsuitable. Yet, when the part proves defective, retrieving your money becomes a battle. This transactional dishonesty mirrors our national ethos, petty deceptions in markets and ministries alike. How can we condemn political corruption while excusing our own complicity in everyday exploitation? Hypocrisy, perhaps, but it reflects a deeper cultural illness. We weaponize accountability for others but evade it for ourselves. Hypocrisy is our shared language. Until we hold ourselves accountable, not just leaders, we remain architects of our ruin. How can a nation heal when its people agitate against corruption while flooding in their own moral decline? The spare parts dealer who inflates prices, cheats customers, and sells counterfeit goods, yet curses politicians for illegal acquisition of wealth or stealing. The civil servant who left Nigeria for Canada because the government is corrupt still receives salary from Nigeria government every month. The mechanic who cuts corners and exploits customers yet demands accountability from Abuja. The couple who cheats on their vows daily but demand integrity from those in power. The fuel attendant who shortchanges customers but protests subsidy scams. The retired officer who profited from bribes, now preaching integrity from his pension. The driver who pockets fuel money. The officer who extorts civilians. The fraudster who scams the vulnerable. What about tailors, all pointing fingers at Abuja while their own hands drip with dirt? Even spiritual hypocrisy thrives. Those who weaponize faith for harm still demand divine intervention for Nigeria. Even those who harm their own family, parents who betray their children's trust, ritualists who trade lives for wealth, dare to lecture the government on morality. Hypocrisy is our national anthem. We curse darkness while clutching matches, until we confront our own lies, the petty frauds, broken promises, and moral shortcuts. We remain trapped in this cycle. True change begins not with blaming leaders, but with rebuilding our collective character. True change begins when we hold the mirror to ourselves, not just to ASO rock. The untranslated dream, ideal human organization, is a foreign language. Progress is a foreign language. Development is a foreign language. Love is a foreign language. And sincerity is a foreign language. These things can never happen to Nigeria or Africa. Nigeria will never rise higher than the collective conscience of its people. We are both the architects and wrecking crew of our nation. Only when we align our daily choices with the values we preach as leaders and demand as citizens will these foreign languages find a home in Nigeria. Until then, chaos will reign. On the streets, in markets, and in government. Religion may guide moral thinking, but it won't rebuild a society where corruption is our currency. The cycle of societal decay, a reflection on collective accountability, a society's foundation. If citizens, including some graduates, master's holders, and PhDs, cannot obey simple traffic lights while driving, how can we expect them to demand or embody integrity in governance? Lawlessness is a cultural reflex. Leaders are not accidents, but reflections of the societies that breed them. A populace that sidesteps rules for convenience will inevitably elect leaders who mirror that norms or standards. The erosion of communal integrity. Decades ago, communities rallied to support development projects. Locals provided water, food, and lodging to contractors building roads, schools, or hospitals. Today, the script has flipped. Some community leaders, religious, traditional, or political, now demand bribes from contractors as approval fees before work begins in their own village. Funds meant for community development vanish into the pockets of some leaders, contractors, and community politicians, while citizens blame the government for failing to deliver. Frequent visit by some religious leaders and chiefs to construction site for prayers where transport fare is expected and always given by the contractor is a case study. The mirror of leadership. A society's leaders are not accidents. They are reflections of its citizens. Corrupt citizens breed corrupt leaders. When a contractor must bribe a community to build for that community, the rot is systemic. Africa's struggles are not solely the fault of political office holders. They are the culmination of collective moral compromise. The contradiction in complaint. Many Nigerians flee to Europe, citing governance failures and economic hardship as reasons to seek greener pastures. Yet the irony is stark. Even if these emigrants were handed leadership, Nigeria's crises would likely deepen, or our systemic rot would likely deepen. The issue transcends who governs. It is rooted in a collective cultural mindset that normalizes dysfunction and elevates individualism over communal progress. A call for cultural reckoning. To break this cycle, we must confront an uncomfortable truth. Africa's progress is stunted not just by bad leaders, but by a populace that enables them, until citizens hold themselves and their peers accountable, rejecting bribes, upholding ethics and valuing integrity, no reform, policy or leader can salvage a house built on sand. The change begins not in presidential palaces, but in the choices we make at traffic lights, in markets and in our neighborhoods. Final thought, Africa's redemption begins when we stop pointing fingers and start confronting the corruption within our homes, streets, and hearts. Leaders emerge from the soil of societal values. If the soil is poisoned, the harvest will be toxic.